Welcome to another edition of 6 Minutes of Wisdom. I am lucky enough to be here with Cynthia, Shane, and Randy Starry.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. I always struggle when I start these off because I kind of want to be like, say, good morning or good afternoon, but then I realize the way people listen to their podcasts, I know it varies across the board. But
I went for a walk yesterday and passed a neighbor, and it was 11:45, and I said good morning and realized, it's
11:45. You're good. Good. Well, I think we teased this a few podcasts ago, but today we want to talk a little bit more about Medicare. And specifically, it's tis the season for, that to be addressed, because it's not only when you turn 65, or I should say 3 months before the month you turn 65, do you need to start the enrollment process, but every year it's something that kind of needs to be revisited. And Randy, I know you're not even close to Medicare age yet.
No.
Wait. Plenty of time to go, but that's
getting closer, but everybody is. So.
Yeah, but I know it's also something you have some personal experiences with, and I was wondering if you could kind of share your personal experiences with Medicare, specifically as you're working with your dad, or how things have changed over time and with the enrollment periods.
Yeah. Every year at this time, you get the opportunity to check in again with an insurance agent to find out whether or not your particular Medigap plan is sufficient for your needs. A lot of people, just kind of ride it out and say, oh, the premium's going up, I better just stick with it. But that isn't the case. You should always have somebody that you can check in with, give them your list of meds. So we're talking about Medicare Part D now. If you're trying to figure out what's going to be covered and what isn't, and what insurance company might be the best for your coverage, this is the time of year that you do that. Cynthia, we've had a situation already with another client about this particular issue. Why don't you share that story with us again?
Yeah, of course. We had a client that was just continuously paying their monthly premium without much regard. Presumably it had gone up many times over time, and they just blindly paid it. And we encouraged them to check into this and find a rep and see what their rates or their policy changes could be. And sure enough, as we said in another podcast, it went from $1,000 a month down to $100 or less, which is a huge impact on one's finances. And I think, one might not think you need to review it on an annual basis, but things like healthcare always on somebody's agenda in policy and reform and things like that. It just makes sense to continue to stay on top of it. And maybe one person, if it's a husband-wife situation, maybe someone's a Medicare age and the other one is not. So then how does that impact what type of benefit or Medigap policy you should review? And it's just best to talk to the experts, and they can really line things out for you.
It seems like, Randy, as you were going through it, the amount of work that goes into it probably, it seems like it could be daunting, but you said you pretty much just work with an individual where you give them a list of updated prescriptions.
Well, it depends upon how long your meds list is and how much it's changed each year. But what happens is the insurance companies themselves change how they cover certain medicines during the course of from year to year, I should say. So that's why you really need to get that list of meds and get it double checked by somebody and who can shop for another insurance company and determine that indeed you are on the best possible plan. But again, we've made a couple of changes already for my father over the course of the time frame that this has been in existence. So it's not like we're sticking with the same company for 5, 6, 7 years in a row.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just same thing as renewing auto insurance or homeowners insurance. Those are things that one should look at periodically, and I think maybe you think about a little bit more often, especially as you may change out cars. But health insurance and Medicare, that's right up along within that list of items to do.
Yeah, we might not always see a 90% improvement in savings on that, but
sample. But
if you're working with a trusted agent or a trusted representative that you can kind of go out there and have them double check what they're doing to understand what else is available to you, it can create some savings and or make your life a little easier.
All right, that's all we have for today. So if you like what you hear, please subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. You can also ask Alexa to play Apple Podcasts 6 Minutes of Wisdom. Please share this podcast with anybody you know that may benefit from it. Thank you, and we'll talk to you again next month.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Disclosure time. This podcast is intended for informational and educational purposes only. It is not an offer to buy or sell or a solicitation of an offer to buy or sell any security or investment, or to participate in any particular trading or investment strategy. The information contained is considered to be from reliable sources, but its accuracy is not guaranteed. We do not offer tax or legal advice, so please consult your tax or legal professional for information specific to your situation. The opinions expressed are those of the show's hosts and guests and are not necessarily those of Robert W. Baird and Company, Incorporated. Please note past performance is not indicative of future results, and diversification does not ensure a profit or protect against loss. All investments carry some level of risk, including loss of principal. You should carefully consider investment objectives and risks in any investment before investing. An investment cannot be made directly in an index. Securities and investment advisory services are offered by Robert W. Baird and Company, Incorporated, a registered broker-dealer and investment advisor, member NYSE, FINRA, and SIPC.